Hello, 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 everybody. This is Irina Strunina, and this is our weekly podcast, Diabetically Speaking with Smart Move 360. This is where we meet every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and I invite my guests to join me in a conversation about life with diabetes, what it means, what this diagnosis is about, what people need to be aware of. My usually my guests are experts in this and experts in healthcare, so they are sharing information and their expertise in regards of diabetes from their point of view. And as you know, we had different healthcare professionals here, with different specialties, and I would love to have this wide representation so people, our listeners, have a chance to get this education and to be aware of all the underwater dangers that diabetes can bring if we are not educated. So today I invited the guest that is all about this. She is really passionate about educating people because in her line of work, this is what she is often witnesses, that people unfortunately have to face different complications, different challenges that could be very well avoided if they knew about it before. So, Coco, welcome to our show. Please introduce yourself. Tell us why you are doing the work that you are doing, and we'll go from there.
Hello, everybody. My name is Coco. I am a nurse, and I started to bridge a company called One Way Nurse Group to be able to assist, especially diabetic patients, to understand their diagnosis a little bit better, medication management, and also work with them on the health side, like diet and exercise. Just because I started seeing a lot in my field working with patients. Part of what we do as nurses, we do a lot of interviews with our patients with medication teaching. And what I was finding was a lot of patients did not know their medications. They did not understand why they were on the medications, and they also were not understanding symptoms of medications. And a lot of times they didn't feel comfortable going back to the prescriber to ask these questions.
So, you are working in the hospital settings, or you're working, what is your location, let's say?
So I currently still work in different environments. And then I have my own business. I work personally with our diabetic clients to ensure that I can meet them where they are to help them even outside of environments that maybe, because to be honest, people say a lot of times, well, I feel like I was rushed or I don't feel like this was explained enough. So just in a typical hospital, not trying to take up for anybody, but if you have a nurse that's responsible for 5 or 6 patients and they're discharging, let's say a new diabetic patient, they only have a certain amount of time to stay with that patient, to give that patient teaching. So it's not that that nurse is trying to ignore a diabetic client. They're given the rightful education. But truth be told, diabetes is a chronic disease, and a 15-minute teaching, a lot of information is not going to be retained. A lot of people are just shocked about the diagnosis. And that's where I come in to be able to provide a more detail in your diabetes diagnosis, medication management, and also times where you probably need to go follow back up with your doctor to get adjustments, because it's really impossible for a nurse that has 5 or 6 other patients to give you all the information and take time to answer all of your questions.
Absolutely. This is something that I also find out, and a lot of our group members, Facebook group Diabetes 101 for Beginners, they enter the group saying, I am such and such, got recently diagnosed, and frankly, all I know is that I have diabetes and my number is this. I don't even know what this number is about. I will accept any kind of help, explanation, and this is what we are facing every day. I just recently learned that in a week we have about 2,000 new members joining the group. In a week, this is how many people are looking for information, and I'm really glad that you agreed to be here with us today and help me and to help others to provide information that they need to know before, because agree, right, until you know what you're dealing with, you cannot really do anything about it, right? You have brought from home or from the store a whole bunch of different produce, and if you don't have a recipe written or memorized, you have no idea what to do with that. So this all produce will go bad. So we need knowledge, we need, tools that will help us to improve our health.
And I'm actually glad that you brought up the recipe idea because it kind of sparked something in my brain when I think about diabetes and even the group. Everything is not cookie cutter, meaning that your recipe, depending on your background, your ethnicity, depending on how grandma used to make things, your recipe will be a little different. So that's the same thing with everybody with diabetes. Because of your genetics, background, your ethnicity, your body build, how things metabolize or breaks down in the body, the way diabetes work on your body may be slightly different than someone else. So it's absolutely wonderful that we have the Diabetes 101 because we can give each other tips and tricks within the group that can help. But at the same time, everybody's body is different. So you have to understand that someone can give you what works for them, but you can't necessarily get mad or say that they didn't tell you the truth within the group and leave the group and be upset about the group because it didn't work for you. You just have to understand that maybe you need to look at more comments, engage more within the group because there is somebody in the group that could have a very similar makeup than like you do, and things that works for them may actually work for you too, but it's not gonna, one thing is not gonna work for everybody. So get the engagement within the group, talk to each other. Also, us experts, we're here to help as well, and we can do a more tailored conversation and plan to help you with your diabetes. But just understand the group is there for support, for help, and so you can get some ideas along the way that can help you with your diabetes because ultimately you have to tailor your diabetes journey to your own self.
Absolutely. And the good thing you actually, we are kind of feeding each other. You just mentioned something that I wanted to emphasize also. The discussions that we have in the Facebook group, those stories and recipes and suggestions and medications and exercises, all this, uh, great examples that work for different people. But my strong recommendation is write them down, memorize it, and talk about it next time you go to doctor's office. Talk with doctor, talk with nurses. If you have diabetes educator, talk with diabetes educator, because same back to what you said, Coco, the what works for one may not work for you. And even though maybe you have similar upbringing and you are from the same culture and you both have the same habits of eating in a certain way, but maybe that person is different age, maybe that person has different additional complications or different diagnoses, or you have different diagnoses in addition to this. So doctor is the one, or medical professionals are the ones who are looking how these different parts work together, and maybe what works for one will work for you, but with certain adjustments, with a little, tuning needs to be done. So someone needs to drink a gallon of water. Water is great, but for you, maybe you don't need a gallon. Maybe you need just a half a gallon or something like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think I stressed I think one day in a group I had commented something very similar to that, and somebody was saying that their finger stick, which is their fasting blood glucose levels, is a finger stick test that you take at home. So another thing for our new diabetics to understand is language. Educate yourself on language of diabetes. So even in the group, you have a good understanding of what somebody's talking about, and you don't think that your number is somewhere on a crazy level. Just because someone says their A1C, the A1C level is completely different than your fasting blood glucose level. The fasting blood glucose level is what you do at home. It's a little finger prick. The normal level for that is about 70 to 100. And even before you eat or after you eat, it's normal for it to be a little elevated. But I have seen some people say, well, I'm doing bad today. My number is 101. I ate a piece of bread last night. And for our new diabetes patients, don't beat yourself up. This is a journey, it's not a race. It is a chronic disease. Yes, you can reverse and get your A1C back normal. You can get your numbers back to a normal level, but it is a chronic disease. This is something that you have to work at. So if today you was not the best at your numbers, we have tomorrow. So pick your head up. Do not, feel like you're a failure. Things happens to the best of us. This is why this community was created, so that you can get in a group, you can get encouragement, so that you can pick yourself back up and we can try it again tomorrow. As long as you have breath in your body, you can keep trying to fight diabetes and find the right system and program, like we just discussed, that works for you.
Yes, absolutely. And one more thing that we just spoke with you before we started this, one thing that is very important, and I saw it so many times. I saw it with my husband. I saw it so many times in our Facebook group. Um, when you are listening to everything that is being told to you,
Mm-hmm.
but don't take this as a tool of
Mm-hmm.
your own it and do it with the knowledge that you just gained, but rather they told me, my wife said me to do that, my mother told me to do that, my doctor told me to do that, so they told them, not me, made a decision to do in certain way. Yes, I've heard it from the doctor recommended, and I decided to do that. So
Right.
my invitation is to become more in charge of your own health and with the help of the others. This is great when you have a health help from medical team, from your family, from your friends, but you
Mm-hmm.
are the one who is making this final decision. What goes into your mouth? Are you going outside for a walk or you're not going outside for a walk? Are you going to bed at a reasonable hour or you decided to watch this extra episode of the soap opera or maybe play another game around another round of games? So all this is very individual, and we need to take charge. We need to be the ones who is making this decision, not that somebody else said it to do and I did it and it didn't work, so this is their fault. So
Right.
let's be more active in that process.
Most definitely more active.
Yes, and gaining information, this is uh, active activity, right? And I have to say that kudos to all our group members. There are
Absolutely.
millions of people with diabetes. I mean, not just millions, hundreds of millions of people with diabetes. World Wide Web and Facebook is available in almost every part of the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? But yet our group is only 200 plus thousands of people. From that perspective, only people who want to make a change, only people who are looking for the information, they're with us. And this is a
Right.
my uploads to those people who are doing this, they are already taking charge.
Right. And I think another important thing is when our patients within the group, like you referenced to take things back to your doctor, it's very important that they do take the things back to their doctor because it will allow communication. And that's one thing that we see within the group that's lacking because people have so many questions, but a lot of these questions are questions they should be asking their provider, but they're coming to the group to ask for advice, which I do understand that if you talk to your provider and you might just want to see if you heard something similar, but the fact that that conversation didn't happen at all with your provider should absolutely happen with your doctor because they're the ones prescribing the medication. They are the ones looking at the treatment plan. So that's why, yes, it's good to talk to your provider and also get a follow up from an expert that could follow you throughout your journey to ask those questions. And again, it's okay to go back to the group and say, hey, I was told this by my nurse educator, or I was told this by my doctor. Have you guys heard of this? That is completely okay. But if you're looking for expert advice, it should literally be given to you by experts.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. This is something that I really am trying to promote in the Facebook group that
Yes.
uh, first what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
share whatever information, Facebook or YouTube or Google, these
Right.
are resources. These are resources that are available to everyone. It's like when you go to the pharmacy and there is a whole bunch of different
A bunch of
vitamins and
mess.
pills and all that, but you don't buy everything there, right? You buy
Right,
something that doctor told you will work in your case. Same
right,
thing, this World Wide Web, you go to Facebook, you go to
right,
YouTube, you listen to different ideas. As I said, write them down so you will not
right,
forget. And then when you visit with your healthcare provider, bring it up and say, hey, what about this? Uh, I've heard this should work. I've heard this development going on. I've heard this study is happening. What about this? And you may learn that, as a matter of fact, thank you for bringing it up. This is something that you might try. Let's try it, but and doctor will discuss with you the way how it may work for you. But at the same time, doctor may say, this is a great information. I'm happy to know that some people are being, successful in it. Unfortunately, we need to look for another way for you because you have this, this, and that. And
right,
it's good to know because sometimes, when you, as you, Coco, know, and we see it very often, people start taking
mhm,
simultaneously several different supplements and their medication, and as a result, it's not working. What do they say? They don't say that supplement doesn't work for me. That medication that doctor gave to me, because this
right,
is they can point out the fingers.
right. They can point out and say, well, this is new. And just to kind of go back with what you said about different things work and different conditions, medical conditions that they have, many people that have diabetes, especially once it starts to progress, and I saw in a group, one of the group members stated how he didn't take his diabetes diagnosis seriously until he started having other issues with other systems of his body. So that probably means that he was on some other medication. So if he developed heart failure or blood pressure issues, he was probably on some, like a blood thinning medication and some supplements that other people take interacts with medication. So just because, let's say you were on a medicine that thins your blood, Coumadin, a lot of people know Coumadin and warfarin is one of those medications, so you don't get a blood clot. So with that particular medication, let's say somebody has a supplement that it has a lot of greens and things like that. You're not supposed to have that with taking warfarin or Coumadin. So yes, it might work for their diabetes, but it can interact with this medication that you're taking for another condition. So the group is excellent with giving you advice, but the group doesn't have an overall picture painting of every medicine that you take, all your medical history and background. It doesn't have your allergies listed even. So you don't want to consume something that's actually going to hurt you in other areas.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you actually said this in a much better way than I
Yes.
did. But this is the reason, not but, and this is the reason why I want different healthcare providers to join me on this podcast.
Yes.
Uh, you know, this is something that works for anyone. Before the information will get ingrained before you start even understanding or considering information. We got to hear it
Mm-hmm.
multiple times, and I can say it many times, but it's my voice and my way of saying. But when you,
Right.
Coco, will be here talking about it, and another expert will say it in a certain way, and another expert will say
Right.
it in a certain way, this message will be, presented in a different shapes and different words and different intonation. And who knows, maybe your way of saying it would be the one that will finally ring the bell and somebody who is listening say, ah, I got it now. I've heard that somebody was saying it
Right.
and I couldn't get it. This one, she nailed it down. I got it now. Now I understand why they're all saying this. So thank you
Right.
for being this articulate, and I appreciate the way how you're
Yes, ma'am.
saying it. Thank you.
Yes.
Well,
And then I think another point that, go
yes.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
only the last one of the last points that I just wanted to make is just make sure that you open communication, which is the same thing I've been saying with your doctor. We talk about how we learn even as children growing up, we learn by communication. So you're not going to know about your diabetes until you open up that level of communication with your provider.
Yes, this is something that I love to talk, well, to remind everyone, and it doesn't matter is it talking about diabetes or relationships
Mm-hmm.
or financial status. Unfortunately, and I think we all can join in the same, idea. People cannot read minds.
Mm-hmm.
We can do a lot. We could calculate a lot of things, predict, analyze all this, but we cannot read other people's minds. Even they're
Right.
our closest friends, relatives, kids, we cannot read their minds. So
Right.
don't expect the doctor or the nurse to be able what you meant when
Yes.
you showed up in the office. Bring, this is my really the message from today, bring a list of questions
Mm-hmm.
and maybe records of what you have done lately.
Right.
I am glad right now a lot of people are using CGMs, continuous glucose monitors, so
Right.
they could show it to doctor, on their phone. But first of all, not everybody is using CGM for
Mm-hmm.
different reasons. And it also, CGM is not recording what you ate
Correct.
or how much you slept. All this additional information is helping to work on your treatment plan, right? To
Right.
determine maybe you need different way of taking your medication, different schedule. Maybe you need an extra medication or replace this one with another,
Right.
or sometimes it's also doctors may say, we tried that, you tried this, we believe that we've done everything honestly and we've
Mm-hmm.
got this result. Here's an expert who can actually give you better suggestion that for this specific issue, because one doctor cannot be extremely knowledgeable in every discipline, so
Absolutely.
they may direct us in the right way, right? So to get more information that will be helpful in to treat our condition, right?
Right.
Good, good, good. Thank you. I'm glad that you agreed with me. All right. So, Coco, you said you actually have this is a network, or this is what your nurses advice group? What is it? How people can
So,
reach out to you to get that advice?
okay, so my name is Nurse Coco Ratliff. So I have a social media page. It is One Way Nurse Consultant Group. And within this page, it just shows different things that I do within my business. I am like a nursing teacher instructor as well, because I do believe in helping the new generation of nurses to be experts in different areas as well. So like our patients with diabetes, that they have a passion and be able to educate people with diabetes and be able to help you in any way you need to be helped. And diabetes is one of my forefront things that I do. So I follow patients either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, depending on their need, to help manage their diabetes, give them advice and suggestions when they're shopping at the grocery store, also following them with their numbers and giving them information to be able to report back to their doctors as well. And just being a nurse line that they can contact if they're having their moments, because everybody has what we call freak out moments, where we see a number that we may not necessarily like, and you like to have somebody that is tech savvy, ready to be able to answer those questions. I come in and help to calm your nerves a little bit, give you suggestions, to help you get through, and even make a recommendation if you need to make an appointment with your doctor within 24 hours, depending on the package that they get, or immediate access within 30 to 45 minutes. That I will respond to them to help them with their diabetes management, because it is difficult. It's new, it's scary. So just having that partnership with somebody that you trust, that's not going to steer you wrong and is an expert in the area to help you get through with your diabetes.
Absolutely. Perfect. We will be talking, staying in touch with you and see how we could bring more of you and your knowledge and help to our group members. But for right now, unfortunately, we have to wrap up. Before we
Yes.
go, I wanted to remind everyone about a couple of activities that we have regularly happening in our Facebook group. We have our support group meetings every other Wednesday, and I would recommend you to follow the featured posts in the group where I post the information on which week these meetings is happening. Right. On Thursdays, of course, we have our Diabetically Speaking with Smart Move 360 podcast, which one you also can see on YouTube. YouTube channel is called Smart Move 360. So we have there the podcast and several other recordings, a series of recordings. So you might educate yourself there as well. And one more thing that I wanted everybody to remember to know, that once a month, our registered dietitian, Kim, Kyle, and myself, we are conducting this 2 hours crash course. It's called Diabetes 101 for caregivers. And the idea is when person diagnosed with diabetes, they go to doctor, they go and hopefully talk with the medical staff at the doctor's office. They run the blood work and they get the results. Not always caregivers who are staying at home aware of what is going on, and they can understand what their loved one is telling them, or they cannot. Sometimes they have questions. Sometimes they also read the Facebook and YouTube and Google, and they have questions, but because they don't go to doctor's office, they are really floating in the sea without much of direction. So for that reason, we created this educational series for this year, 2025, and once a month we have that. But again, Smart Move 360 playlist. That is Diabetes 101 for caregivers. You could watch those recordings that we have already there, where Kim giving very detailed and very easy to understand explanation of different aspects of life with diabetes, including how to read the labels when you are shopping, including what is the good items would be for the snacks, or maybe what is the healthy fats, or what is A1C, why it's so important to know it. So all this information is available to everyone. Caregivers is this is what it's called, but everyone. If you have to if you don't have enough clarity, if you don't have enough understanding, this is another way where you could educate yourself um, in a more or less passive way, because this is already published and it's already there. But keep your eyes on the announcements in the Facebook group, because when we do those sessions, we invite people to join us. So you could ask those questions during the conversation time when we have Q&A. With that, Coco, thank you very much for joining me today. This was wonderful conversation. I enjoyed it very, very much. And I'm very happy that you agreed to participate in it. I adore your, enthusiasm and passion. This is great. Welcome to the group, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Everybody, talk to you next week.